Welcome in.
I didn't do my research. I didn't because
It's all over, baby. It's all over.
I don't think I've been this like kind of like
I don't
buzzed.
think he bit my ear.
Hello, hello. Let's journey to the middle.
This journey to the middle.
You'll meet them all again on their long journey to the middle.
Welcome to Journey to the Middle. I'm your host, Matt, and with us in the studio today we have Nando.
What's up?
Nando, you're at a 10, and I need you at a 3.
Oh, what's up?
Thank you.
All right.
All right, enough of that. What's going on, man?
I was actually, if we were gonna do a YouTube version of this, I was gonna show you the pictures, but I already sent them to you.
Oh, you could, yeah. My own Animal Crossing tiger.
So that's you, but
That's
I haven't shown you me.
Well, dude, you're gonna have to post them to the page or something.
All right, I'll do that.
That's awesome. We got Animal Crossing characters now.
Yep.
For all you Animal Crossing fans out there, I still got to get a Switch, man.
And there's like a shortage. We're not gonna get it for like 2 or 3 months, even if.
No. I thought about getting one for the kids because of all this stuff going on, and I looked and it was impossible. So yeah. I stopped looking. So I told you, I texted you earlier that I was going to get a special beer for tonight.
Yeah.
I got from Pollyanna.
Oh.
This is a bourbon barrel aged and period toasted marshmallow. Fun size milk stout.
Yeah. That looks fantastic.
It's really good. Like I said, it's toasted marshmallow. It does have that taste to it. Very interesting. Yeah. It's one of these bourbon barrel aged beers, so it was expensive.
Yeah.
We got 2 this size. They're a little bit bigger than a regular can, for like $19.
Damn.
Yeah. So the bourbon barrel stuff is expensive. And I was like, when I was walking through the store, there was a bunch of coffee flavored beers and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm very, like, I've had them before, and like, I'm very, either I hate it or I like it. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't sure, but the other stuff I bought was, it's a Goose Island, Fulton County Street coffee blend thing. So I'll try that one later. But
it'd be cool if they like popped up in a can for you. Be like, here, why don't you just give this a taste real quick and see if you like it?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I like going to breweries, because you can taste a couple different styles.
Yeah.
I think I told you before, I'm into stouts, I'm into the dark beers. But I do like a lighter beer. Like if I'm going to a baseball game.
Yeah.
Goose Island is a big sponsor of the White Sox now, and they have a White Sox beer, which I haven't had yet. It was exclusively sold at the stadium last year. What was that?
I said, too bad they don't have a team. Oh!
You don't either right now.
I know. Nobody does.
Right now we got Korean baseball, man. I was watching a thing on, what was it, the HBO Sports deal with Bryant Gumbel, and South Korea, they got baseball going, but they don't have anybody in the stadiums. It's the only place to watch baseball right now. Oh, well. All right, so beyond that, I was going to tell you, so we've been off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I needed a break because, like, we've been kind of like really into the podcast lately, doing a lot of promotion. Mm-hmm. The last episode that we recorded, the YouTube was being a bitch. I was trying to upload that video for a couple days. It just wasn't going through. Like my computer was fine, but it's just like it would get to the end and be like, no. Oh. So it was it took a while. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. So I'm like, so the last couple of weeks, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like it right now. I need a break because this thing's pissing me off. So total YouTube fail. On top of that, so my screen right now shows like this sign backwards, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can see it. So
I
it's
can
not
read it.
backwards, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. On my screen, you're over here.
Yeah, you're on my my left side.
Right.
Yeah.
When you go to YouTube, you're over here.
So it just throws you off.
Well, here's the thing. So I told you, I'm like, okay, so if you want to subscribe to Journey in the Middle, click on Nando's face.
So it's on your face, though.
I'm pointing the wrong direction while I'm saying that. On top of that, so there, when you go to put that button on your video,
Yeah.
it says, you know, you add the subscribe button, then there's a time on there. And the time picks whatever, I think the last 20 seconds of the show or something. So I'm assuming you could change that time. And so I could put that right on you when I'm pointing at you.
Yeah. And
Nope. It did not work. So at the end of the video, I'm pointing the wrong direction at a subscribe button that is not there for like another 10 seconds or so.
You're like, he's right here. Oh, wait, it's gone. Thanks.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Because I'm watching the video and I'm like, I'm pointing the wrong direction. And then so I'm like, well, whatever. I can't do anything about it now. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to put in the button where at the time I'm talking about it, and it doesn't work. So
Next time, just go like this. You know, put both fingers, go in both directions.
yeah, and I got to make sure it's in like the last 20 seconds of the video too. So yeah, and I got to remember to point this way. Right, you're right here.
Yeah, point to the opposite direction of where you think I am.
It's so weird. Ridiculous. So that's the YouTube fail for me. Still getting used to that thing.
Damn it, man.
But we got people watching us on YouTube, so that's cool.
That is cool. I mean, hopefully for next time I'll shave too, so they won't be like, oh man, like look at this old crummy looking guy right here. Can't even comb his hair and beard going.
Yeah. So we were talking about before we started, and I think we try not to get political here. We don't want to like choose sides or anything, and you know, red, blue, whatever. But there's a whole lot of shit going on right now.
Yeah.
So I'm out in the suburbs, and just before, like when you texted me, and I said I was gonna, we were gonna meet up on Zoom and everything and start the show and all that. Right before, someone posted something on Facebook that said that the Walgreens by me got closed down because of potential riots. I don't know if there are active riots. It's like a mile away from my house.
That's still pretty
it's pretty fucking close. So, yeah. So it's out here a little bit too. I've heard of peaceful protests in the area. I've heard of peaceful protests in Detroit, some other cities that are just like, they're talking. But God damn it, man, we're in Chicago. It's getting bad out there.
No, it is. And that's one of the things, obviously, that I worried about too, because I actually do live in Chicago. Like, thankfully, I'm like in the north, a little bit west of, downtown. So I'm not like, in the middle of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, like you said, we were talking about this earlier, and I can hear like all the car horns, and we were talking like these aren't like regular traffic horns. These are like shit's going down kind of car horns,
Yeah.
And it's scary, it really is.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of opinions out there on what's going on. They're like, people saying that there's thugs and the stealing, it's not sending the right message, and it's just like, here's the thing. I don't agree with what's happening, riots and stealing and such, but I gotta say this: no one's been listening. There's been silent protests. Kaepernick's on a knee, has nothing to do with the flag, yet we are still not listening, and we're saying it's about something else, and we're disrespecting soldiers. And we've tried the silent route. We've tried the nice protest to talk it out.
Yeah.
But it's not working. And you know what? Everybody has their attention on what's going on now.
Yeah.
And everyone knows why it's happening. You know, maybe this guy stealing a stereo isn't the right thing, but you know, if everyone's out there lighting up, you know, a lot of what I'm seeing in Chicago is people are setting police cars on fire.
Yeah.
You know, are you listening now? I think that's the point.
Yeah. And for me, I think, you know, you and I strongly agree on that point. I have my brother-in-law is a cop, and, you know, anybody who knows me knows that I don't like cops.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, on that flip coin, it's partially because I'm kind of an asshole. You know, when I get into like a confrontation or an altercation with a cop, it's kind of like, well, I'm kind of being a dick too, so I know it. But the difference is, at no point in my life have I ever felt that, hey, my life's going to end. Mm-hmm. The worst part that I've always felt was, I'm going to go to jail. And you know what I mean? And it's for me being sick, you know? So like, you know, like I said, you know, me having a police officer for a brother-in-law, I'm obviously like fearful for him, fearful for my sister, you know, and my family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I don't support, you know, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter. But again, I agree with the point of like, I feel like the riots and the violent protesting diminishes from the points of the peaceful protests. Mm-hmm. But again, they've tried peaceful protests, and where has that gotten them?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, like I told you before, history is repeating itself.
Yeah.
You know, Rodney King got beat, LA riots, you know, and here we are again. We're doing the same thing over and over. Mm-hmm. No one's listening. Nothing's changed. I mean, I'm interested to see where we go from here. Yeah. I pray that this opens up some eyes. Yeah. And that, you know, and I think the biggest thing that people have to understand is this is not, you know, like, I don't like police because of what's happening. You can have an opinion on both. You can say, I support the police. They're here to protect us. They're here to make us safe. But you know what? There's also Black people who shouldn't be dying because of excessive force, and I'm kneeling on your neck for over 9 minutes. And, you know, come on, man. My biggest frustration with what's going on with the world right now is the lack of caring about other humans. Yeah. You know, this is part of it.
And we obviously care, like, for the police. You know, we're not going to be like, no, like, screw you. No, we are, you know, happy with the police if they're good police. Mm-hmm. But obviously the demonstration of, I'm going to, you know, kneel on this poor's neck until he dies, that's a bad cop right there in all forms of being bad cops.
Right.
You know?
And there was four of them there at that scene, and 2 of them were like right there. And I guess the 4th one was like doing crowd control or something. But as I understand it, there was at least 2 other people that could have been like, hey, man.
Yeah, he can't breathe.
He's been subdued. Let's just get him into the back of the car or something.
Right.
You know, like, it's frustrating.
It is
frustrating.
And like the crazy thing is too, like, I mean, you're seeing this erupt not just in our own backyard, but it's like reaching worldwide.
Right.
You know, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like you said, hopefully we learn from this and we do better, because I know we can do better.
We absolutely. And that's the direction we need to be in. Yeah. And, you know, if you have an opportunity, if you haven't seen it, Killer Mike, he's from Run the Jewels. He came out, he's from Atlanta. He came out in Atlanta and he had a beautiful speech about it. If you want to make a difference, stay home and hit the polls. Uh-huh. If you don't like the guy that's holding office right now, go do something about it.
Yeah.
Speak with your vote. That's, I think, the best thing we can do right now. Silent protest. Let's learn from what the hell we're doing, and let's get the right people that we need in office.
Yeah.
We don't need We don't need any of this more bullshit, of, saying, hey, these cops are getting off or getting light sentences or just getting fired. They need to have some consequences here.
Accountability.
We need to allow people who are trying to flee other countries for a better life into the country and not just say sorry.
Yeah.
There's so many other topics I can jump into that just stem off of this, but I don't want to get too much into it.
Right.
We've probably gone a little bit too far already.
I know, but we wanted to make sure, because obviously this is happening, now,
Right.
that way, like, everybody knows, like, this is how we feel. And like you said, everybody has an opinion about this, whether it's, going too far, not far enough. What are we going to do? My personal message is I just hope everyone's safe, because, you and I, we have, friends and coworkers who are Black who are obviously being directly affected by this.
Yeah, exactly.
And at some point you're going to have to be like, okay, well, thoughts and prayers only go so far.
Exactly. I mean, we need to move beyond thoughts and prayers, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of the world. There's a lot. Enough of that. We need to laugh, right?
A little bit of laughter. Yes.
I think it's time for some laughter. Let's laugh about something. This show is going to be comedians, some of our favorite comedians.
Yes.
So I hope in this, you guys have either not heard of one of these guys. I know you've heard of at least one of mine.
Mm.
That you get something new out of this, something you haven't heard before, and you have a good time on the show. So before we get started, we got to talk about Luna Isol. So let's take a break real quick.
All right.
And let's see what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Rocio, and I am the owner and maker at Luna Isol Boutique. My bows are customizable to fit all ages and styles. They are specially designed to stand out, and you won't find these bows anywhere else. All our products are even tested and approved by a tiny 3-year-old fashionista. If you want something unique and eye-catching, check out our styles on Facebook and Instagram today.
All right. Thanks to Luna Isol. Check them out, guys, on Facebook. Check them out on Instagram, as always. So, Nando, I don't know where I want to start. I kind of feel like I have to start with my favorite comedian right now.
Is that me?
You're not very funny.
The utter look of disappointment in your face is priceless.
You know what's funny is you've used that phrase before on the show.
I know I have. And you're like, fuck no. You're not.
So if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump right into it. I got to talk about this guy. So my favorite comedian right now, and I got to see him, I believe it was about 2 years ago, at the, I think it was the Chicago Theater.
Okay.
Mr. John Mulaney. Now Mulaney he's kind of I think he's kind of been more mainstream lately.
Yeah.
He's hosted Saturday Night Live a few times now. Used to be a writer on Saturday Night Live. Wrote some great sketches. If you actually go and see which ones were his, they won an award for this. I meant to look up the name of the sketch, but it's like this diner lobster sketch, in which they have, I think it's Kenan Thompson as a lobster, and it's like almost like a Broadway show, but it's friggin' hilarious. And they did a follow-up one where they were like in the Newark airport or something like that. There's like 3 of these. They do like these operatic comedy sketches, and they're friggin' hilarious. Mulaney, I think, is I keep saying fucking genius. I don't know why I'm censoring myself right now.
He's a fucking genius.
So a couple things about him. The show I saw is, if you go to Netflix, The Comeback Kid, that's the show I saw. Hilarious. Okay. I laughed so fucking hard. My gut hurt the entire show. Check out The Comeback Kid. And there's this part where he's talking about, I want to say it's the janitor or something like that no. It was like a McGruff crime dog guy, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Comes to the school and he's doing an assembly about like guns or something like that. It's hilarious. But we're gonna play some clips of our comedians here, so you'll see like one of my favorite bits of his. Hear it in a minute. What else? Got an Emmy nomination for the Comeback Kid. He was on the Mark Twain Awards. It's like this big comedy award. He was there when David Letterman was getting it, and Letterman's like, "Hey, this guy John Mulaney right now is the future of comedy." I mean, that's up there, man.
Yeah.
You got that guy telling you're the future of comedy? Whew, forget it. Forget about it. Here's another thing he did, which was, I believe, a show on Broadway. It was called Oh Hello, with Nick Kroll. If you don't know who Nick Kroll is, he is a comedian who's been on what's that fantasy football show?
I don't know.
I can't remember. The League.
Oh,
The League. It's with Nick Kroll, Paul Scheer, Jason Mantzoukas, who are all hilarious comedians. So check that out. What else? There was I think this is part of the Oh Hello sketch. There was a sketch called or Oh Hello show called Too Much Tuna, where like contestants come on and they are basically given sandwiches with too much tuna.
Oh. The sandwich of overflowing tuna-ness.
And then the last one that you should really check out is a Netflix special that's maybe a year old now, maybe not even. It's called the Sack Lunch Bunch, and it's almost like a Mr. Rogers show, but with comedy. And there's kids. It's funny. It's pretty good. It starts out slow, and you're like, I don't know about this, but it gets good. So
now, is that show G-rated because it's got kids then, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I don't think there's a single swear in it.
All right, good.
Mulaney, for the most part, is a clean comedian.
Yeah.
Doesn't get into politics very much. I mean, he swears here and there, but it's only for comedic effect. It's not like he's Chris Rock or something, or Chappelle. So he doesn't swear a lot.
I think I mentioned it to you. Like the first time I saw him, and I think it was when his show was about to start. I'm like, why is the guy from The Flash doing like a comedy show? Because I was like, they look the same to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Funny you say that. I don't know if you remember this or not, and I think we talked about this on a previous episode. Mulaney was the voice of Spider-Ham in Spider-Verse, Peter Porker.
Right, yeah. We did talk about it.
Yeah, and he does it great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So Mulaney is like one of my top comedians right now. And I honestly, dude, I got a whole list here. I wrote down a bunch of comedians that are like my favorites from either present or past. So
I've got a handful. I mean, obviously I have a couple of past ones. I've only actually seen two comedians in person. One was George Lopez, and the other one is going to be my first one that I talk about. But I want to let you go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish. I'm done. So whoops. Kind of knocked the table there. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to show you. So, before I start the clip, Mulaney is a Chicago native.
Oh, nice.
And if you don't know it, there was a place called the Salt and Pepper Diner in Chicago. It is now closed, which I recently learned. I always wanted to go check this out for the reason of the skit. So, or bit, whatever. So, check it out. Here it is. John Mulaney, Salt and Pepper Diner.
I wanted to tell you one story. This is the story of the best meal I've ever had in my life, okay? Happened when I was 11 years old in Chicago, Illinois, where I grew up. I went to a place called the Salt and Pepper Diner with my best friend, John. We walk in to the diner one day, and they had a jukebox there, okay? And the jukebox was 3 plays for $1. And then we ordered and waited. Here's the thing about when What's New Pussycat plays over and over and over and over and over again. The second time it plays, your immediate thought is not, hey, someone's playing What's New Pussycat again. It's, hey, What's New Pussycat is a lot longer than I first thought. The third time it plays, you're thinking, maybe someone's playing What's New Pussycat again. The fourth time it plays, you're either thinking, whoa, someone just played What's New Pussycat 4 times, or at least someone played it twice, and it's a really long song. So the 5th time is the kicker, all right? Now, John and I, we're watching the entire diner at this point, all right? Most people have gotten wind as to what's going on. And we're staring at this one guy, and he's sitting in like a booth with his stupid kids jumping around, and he's like staring at his coffee cup like this, and he's been onto us since the beginning. And he's sitting there, and his hand is shaking. He had this look on his face like, oh, like he had just gotten his 30-day chip from anger management. And he's staring like this, and the 4th song fades out. It's dead quiet. And then, I don't know if you know this, but the song begins very quietly. Wah, wah, what's new, pussycat? And he goes, God damn it! And pounds on the table. And silverware flies everywhere. And it was fantastic. But a word about my best friend John and what a genius he was. Because when we first walked into the diner, okay? When we first got there, and I'm punching in the What's New Pussycats, all right? I've punched in like 7 at this point. And then John says to me, hey. Before you punch in another What's New Pussycat, let's drop in 1. It's not unusual. Oh, yes. That is when the afternoon went from good to great. After 7 What's New Pussycats in a row, it played 7 times. Suddenly, dum, da-dum, not unusual, and the sigh of relief that swept through the diner. People were so happy. It was like the liberation of France. You know, for years, scientists have wondered, can you make grown men and women weep tears of joy by playing Tom Jones's It's Not Unusual? And the answer is yes, you can, provided that it is preceded by 7 What's New Pussycats. It's true. Dead honest. And on the other hand, when we went back, holy It's Not Unusual fades out. It's dead quiet. What's new, pussycat? People went insane. People went out of their minds. No one could handle it. No one could handle it. And they were surrounded by this seemingly indifferent staff that was just like, yeah, same crap as always. They unplugged the jukebox after 11 plays, and that was the best meal I've ever had. Thank you.
Oh man, that was so good.
That was good.
Still love it. Every time I listen to it, still love it.
Oh man, you're silly.
I know. That's why I love doing this.
I'm actually glad that you sent the clip beforehand, because like obviously, you know, I like listening to the clips you know, beforehand, but it's cool, right. Like oh yeah, like I mean I kind of know what's gonna happen, but it's still funny. You're like, yeah, that's good, man.
It's just, the one part that gets me every time. Well, there's 2 parts in that skit that get me every time, where he's like, and then, you know, there's this one guy who's been like onto us the entire time. And when the 4th time comes around, he's like, God damn it. And then the part where he's like, he's talking about his buddy, and his buddy's name is John too. And he's like, and here's the genius of my friend John. Before you put in another What's New Pussycat, how about we throw in one It's Not Unusual?
Right. What is it, number 7, he said, right? So you get 6 songs of that, and then just a random, It's Not Unusual.
It's amazing. I've always wanted to go into a place and do that. And it would be amazing if someone's like, fuck, man, this is that Mulaney bit this guy's doing over here. Oh, man. Check out John Mulaney, man. If anything, just watch one of his specials on Netflix, or just pull the guy up on YouTube and just go on a YouTube journey with his comedy. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's got a lot of clips on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a bunch. It was really honestly hard to pick a favorite. I saw this clip before I really knew who John Mulaney was, and that was the one that got me into him. And I'm like, got to find this guy. Mm-hmm. When I saw him come to town, I'm like, I'm fucking going. Had to go. And I think I may have told the story on the podcast before, but when I was at this show, before the show started, I had my phone and I'm just scrolling through it, just whatever. So old lady comes up to me. She's like an usher or something. She's like, oh, just so you know, no pictures during the show. I'm like, oh, well, what happens if I take a picture? Because, just for me, I just want a memory. I just want to take one picture, put that thing away, and enjoy the rest of the show. Just like, hey, there's Mulaney, put it in the pocket. And she's like, oh, well, I'll have to give you a warning, but if you do it again, then I'm going to have to kick you out. I'm like, oh, so I get one warning. I can take one picture, and then she's like, not now.
I almost would have been like, if you watch me, I'm just going to take a quick picture of him, and then you'll see the phone in the pocket so that there's no problem.
Yeah, it was part of his thing to put phones away.
Yeah.
They didn't lock him up or anything, but he just didn't want pictures during the show.
I mean, and I can understand, because, I mean, you're up there, and, like, if you just see, like, random flashes, it's going to...
I can imagine it's very distracting, especially for a comedian. And, like, this was, like, he hadn't filmed the special yet, but, like, literally this show I saw was that Comeback Kid special. So he's working out that material.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Right.
I would have turned the flash off, though.
But then you can't see the picture.
I would have seen it just fine. It's for me. It's not for anybody else. I mean,
yeah, that's
like, oh, there's this. Oh, I remember that day I went to go see Mulaney, Anyways, what do you got for me, man? I know what your first pick is. I know what it is.
Like, you were not even surprised when I told you about this. So
I was not. Absolutely.
My first
when I said, hey, Nando, let's do a show on comedy.
Yeah.
You're going to pick. I'm not going to say. I'll let you say.
You could say. I was going to pick Fluffy, and I'm like, yep, I'm picking Fluffy.
Yeah, Fluffy. Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes.
You know what? And I know this is not your clip, but I'll tell you my favorite clip of his is, I think it's when he's explaining Fluffy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's talking about the roller coaster.
Oh.
And he's like with his two buddies, right? And they're all just like bigger and biggest, right? And they're in the roller coaster, and they're like, he's like, pulls the bar down. He's like, 2 clicks. And the next guy's like, tick, tick, tick,
yeah,
1 click.
So I picked Fluffy. I think he's already got more than the 2 comedy specials. But the first one is I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy. And there's another one, Hot and Fluffy. But he also has a Netflix show, and I think it's just called like Mr. Iglesias or something like that.
Yeah, I watched it. It's okay.
Yeah,
it has moments. It has really great moments.
Yeah, I think I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes, and it was just like one of those where like I saw it and I was like, it's okay. Yeah, but that's all right. So like the clip I think that happens is the one that he buys a new car and it's a Beetle. Obviously I'm gonna let him tell his joke, because obviously I'm not a good joke teller. But to lead you in, I kind of wanted to like lead into the stages that he has of he calls them of fat stages. So he explains that there's big, healthy, husky, fluffy, which is him, and then damn. And then later on when he kind of like revised his show, he added a 6th level of oh hell no, And I kind of wanted to be like, man, I wanted to go with that one as my first one, as my first choice, like when he explains the, oh, hell no. But I liked the him getting into the Beetle one just a little bit more. But it's fun either way. He was born in July of 1976, so he's like not that much older than you and me, which is kind of cool, kind of grow up with a comedian. And like I said, he's got a couple of specials. I think he started off performing in, where did it say? I think it was Long Beach, where he actually had his like first break. And if I'm wrong, you know, you're gonna be like, "Hey, Nando, you got it wrong last week," and I'm like, "Damn it, this is where I actually got started."
Wrong.
Right? Damn it. But yeah, like, he was the second comedian that I went to go see. George Lopez was the first. He was the second, and dude, it was the same experience as you, man. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm laughing, and I'm like pissing my pants when I go see this guy. So, without further ado,
Oh, you ready? Okay.
I'm ready. Roll it.
What's the clip called?
So I kind of just wrote it down as like Fluffy gets a new car.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's new car, Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here it is.
You know, I can handle it. People say, well, you know, Gabriel, you go up there and you make fun of yourself. No, I don't. I come up here and I tell you the things that I heard people say. There's a difference. You know, sometimes I set myself up for jokes and I don't realize it. 3 years ago, I bought a Beetle, not even thinking. That's not the joke. Shut up. See, I can't even tell you guys the story already. I wasn't thinking. I bought the car because it was affordable, economical, brand new freaking Beetle for like 17 grand. I was like, ah! First new car. I go to show it off at my friend Martin's house. I thought it was nice. I pull up, you know. Martin! He lives in the hood. I don't get out the car. Across the street, there are these gang members. The kind of gang members, they don't really get into, you know, like shooting people and stuff like that. They just hang out on the porch and talk a lot of smack. And so I'm there in a Beetle, and across the street, I hear this, right? I'm like, Martin! And over here, I hear, Órale! Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? How'd you get in there, is it? Hurry up, Martin! 2 months later, I go back to pick him up. Now I've had some time to work on the car, right? I put some rims on it, some stickers. I put a chip in the motor so it goes faster. I thought it was bad, right? I pull up. Martin! Órale! I'm not turning around. Hey! Hey! I don't see you. Hey! Oh! What? Check it out, hey! It's the Fat and the Furious! I didn't even wait, man. Got rid of that car, man. I traded it in and got myself a big old SUV. Oh, it was nice for a while. This car freaking sucked on mileage, so man, I got 11 miles to the gallon. Oh, you cannot be badass in a car that kills gas like I kill tacos. You can't be at the stoplight trying to intimidate other cars. You know, what? Whoa. $20 right there. Hell no, man. But it was kind of cool. It had a GPS navigational system in it, and OnStar, which was really cool. You know, I'm driving, and all of a sudden, this girl's talking to me. Right turn up ahead. In 3/4 tenths of a mile, left turn. And I'm like, whatever you say, man.
Dude, oh my God, that's great.
How'd you get in there, SA?
Orderly. Dude, that's great. There's so many fluffy bits, man. He's a quotable guy.
Oh yeah.
You know, you could think about like the last special I saw of his. I don't remember what it was called, but like he says like the first line, and he's doing like an old bit for everybody, you know, and everyone goes nuts because they know which bit's coming.
Right.
Huge following, like really huge following, and like even when he's doing Spanish shit, it's funny.
Yeah.
I can pick up enough of it to know what he's saying a little bit, like most of the time. But yeah, dude, he's good. He's good.
It's kind of like I want to look at Jacqueline and be like, "Did you get that?" And she's like, "Yes, I got it too."
Let me help you out.
Right.
That's awesome, dude. Good pick, man. Fluffy he was on my list. Is like one of my favorites. Yeah. Pretty far up there. It's like one of the first guys I wrote down. I thought about talking about him too, but I'm like, That's Nando's pick.
Nando's gonna
Nando's pick.
take Fluffy. I already know it.
100%. All right, so my next one I'm going to talk about. He is basically like someone that I think everybody knows. If you don't, where have you been? Mr. Dave Chappelle.
That's right. Woo!
So Chappelle, 2 Emmys, 2 Grammys. He recently, last year, got the Mark Twain Prize. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody knows the Chappelle Show.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing about the Chappelle Show, I will tell you, is he co-wrote that with another guy named Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan, glasses, nerdy-looking guy, white, wrote this show with Dave Chappelle. The 2 of them are like best buddies. Now, I think if you don't know him from Chappelle Show, you probably know him from Half Baked.
Oh yeah.
That was written by Chappelle and Neil Brennan. I'm going to tangent real quick. Go check out Neil Brennan's Netflix special called 3 Mics. It is hilarious and it's fucking genius. When I say genius, it's smart and it's good and it's classic. And I haven't looked and see if he's won any awards for that special, but goddamn, he should. So Neil Brennan, 3 Mics, please. Homework.
Matt, I already have something that I have to point out, a mistake that I already said.
Oh, you said something wrong already?
I did. So
wait, hold up. Don't Kanye West me.
No, this goes with
your mistake. You're jumping in, trying to stop me right now.
This goes with your point.
All right, go ahead.
The first comedian that I saw was Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like,
how long ago?
Okay, so when the Chappelle Show came out, I was still at Northern. And like literally this just popped into my head right now. This is like 2002, 2003.
Yeah, so like right before the Chappelle Show, he did a lot of colleges. He did like a college tour.
Yeah. So he came to NIU and I was like right now I'm like, dude, I saw Chappelle. It probably didn't come to me because like my buddy and I kind of shared a 5th of vodka before we went. I'm like, wait, yeah, I did go. But I was a little drunk on that occasion.
You sound a little drunk right now. What was that?
Oh, yeah. You see what I'm drinking? This isn't lemonade.
Is that vodka and lemonade?
No, it's tequila.
Oh, tequila. You got it. So you got a tequila. All right. So we're not going to have a video YouTube this week. But this guy is drinking tequila out of a very large beer stein. Oh, yeah. It's not like one of those just regular old beer steins. This is, I'm going to a German bar. The Hofbrauhaus and getting a beer. But instead of beer, could you throw tequila in this?
Put some shots in here, put some ice, and then I'll be happy. That's where I'm at right now.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to me.
Right, sorry.
Sorry, come on, man. You know I like to talk. So Chappelle got a $20 million deal with Netflix to do 5 specials, which are where he's winning these friggin' awards.
Yeah.
Here's one that I surprised me a little bit because I didn't remember this. Here are the films that Dave Chappelle has been in. And this one I vaguely remember. Robin Hood Men in Tights. The Nutty Professor from 96. Hold on to your seats on this one.
Con Air?
No.
Oh.
You've Got Mail.
Really?
I don't know what he plays in it, but he's in You Got Mail. It is on his film credit.
Okay.
Blue Streak. Undercover Brother. Chirac.
I don't think I've seen him in any of those. Did you hear sirens?
I was just looking behind me because Chirac's going on right now.
Oh.
And probably the only one I really remember well, A Star Is Born.
Wow. And I don't remember seeing him in those movies.
Have you seen A Star Is Born?
I have not.
You got to see it. His part in it is actually really good.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, Dave Chappelle, man. So my clip on this one I don't know if I want to say it.
Are you torn?
I'm torn. Well, the clip doesn't have the name of the joke in it, like the joke premise in it. So basically, Chappelle is going to tell you about how he writes jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say this. If my mom's listening to the podcast, which I know sometimes she does, I am sorry. Here's Dave Chappelle.
I actually write jokes backwards. I will write a punchline with no particular setup in mind. I just put it on a scrap of paper, and I'll throw that scrap of paper in my fishbowl. I have a fishbowl in my house filled with random punchlines. And every once in a while, I'll shake the bowl, and I'll dig in there and just pull one out and see if I can make that shit work. And I picked one for this special. It's not an easy punchline to pull off. Are you ready? Yeah. Here it goes. The punchline is, so I kicked her in the pussy. I haven't finished the joke yet. I just know whatever happens in the beginning of the joke, at the end of the joke, for some reason, I'm gonna kick somebody in the pussy. And it's going to be hilarious. When I was growing up, I was probably about 8 years old, and at the time, we were living in Silver Spring. My parents did just well enough so that I could grow up poor around white people. And to be honest, when Nas and them talk about the projects, nigga, I used to get jealous because it sounded fun. Everybody in the projects was poor, and that's fair. But if you were poor in Silver Spring, nigga, it felt like it was only happening to you. Nas does not know the pain of that first sleepover at a white friend's house. And you come back home on Sunday and just look at your parents like, y'all need to step your game up. Everything at Timmy's house works. Timmy was one of my first white friends, like, in my life, man. And one day I was at his house, we were just hanging out, and Timmy says, Dave, why don't you stay for dinner tonight? I said, oh, man, I'd love to, but I can't. If I'm not home before dark, my mother will kill me. That was a lie. My mother had several jobs. I hadn't seen her in like 3 or 4 days. And the only reason I lied to Timmy was because at that point in my life, it was my experience that white dinner wasn't delicious. I'd rather go home and fry some bologna or some shit like that. But then old Timmy threw me a curveball I wasn't expecting. He said, well, it's too bad you can't stay, Dave, because Mom made stovetop stuffing. I said, what the fuck, stovetop? Well, hold on, nigga, let me make some phone calls real quick. I had seen that commercial so many times, I had dreamt of getting my hands on some of that stovetop stuffing. And finally, I met a motherfucker that actually had a box of stovetop in the house. I couldn't miss this opportunity, so I pretended to call my mother. And then I came back and I said, Timmy, you're not gonna believe this great news. Mom said I can stay. And he said, fantastic. He said, why don't you come with me and we'll help set the table and then we can say the blessing. I had no interest in setting this motherfucker's table or saying these crazy ass Mormon prayers. I just wanted that goddamn stuffing. So I told Timmy, I said, you know what? I'd love to help, but let me go wash my hands first. My plan was simple. Wash my hands slowly, and by the time I'm done, the table will be set, the blessing will be said, and all that there will be left to do is eat. Went to the bathroom. I washed my hands very slowly. I must have been in there for about 10 minutes. And suddenly, one of his mothers came to the door. She was like, hi, David, right? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, Timmy tells me that you're planning on staying for dinner. I said, I hope that's not a problem, ma'am. She says, no, it's no problem. In fact, we'd love to have you. It's just that we weren't expecting company. And I'm afraid there's not enough stovetop stuffing for everybody. So I kicked her in the pussy. Bam! Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Guy just got kicked below the crotch or in the crotch.
Oh yeah. So kick her in the pussy. That's yeah.
To Matt's mom, we're very sorry about that.
Really, to anyone that might be offended by Dave Chappelle, but if you didn't know something like that was coming, there it is.
He's a little more on the risky side, but he's funny.
A little bit
on the risky side, yeah.
So, what was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
One of I don't remember which special it was because like they're kind of a blur at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's one special where he talks about meeting O.J. Simpson. And he says at the beginning of the bit, you know, I think it's 5 times. I think he says, I met O.J. Simpson 5 different times in my life. And throughout the special, he will jump into the joke and be like, and the second time I met O.J. Simpson, and he tells a story about it. Finishes the story, goes about his business, continues on with jokes about whatever, and then comes back later on. And the third time I met O.J. Simpson, it's the best every time. You know, the one thing about Chappelle is I will say this: he can make a joke out of anything.
Yeah,
he can make a joke out of something that would never work for any other comedian, except if you're Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
So, I hope you enjoyed that clip. And I hope you check out his specials if you haven't already. If Dave Chappelle is new to you,
wow,
go check out Half Baked, and then start watching the Chappelle Show, and then jump into his specials, and then be like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
this guy's a genius.
Yeah, this
guy's amazing." The Mark Twain Prize that he won, that show is on Netflix right now. It's from roughly a year ago. It's the best because a bunch of comedians come on, they kind of roast Chappelle a little bit and tell other jokes. My favorite is when Neil Brennan, his buddy, comes out on stage, and my second favorite is when Kenan Thompson, Michael Che, and Colin Jost are on the stage, because Kenan Thompson and Michael Che are telling, you know, jokes that Chappelle would enjoy. Colin Jost comes on and starts talking about like history or something like that, something like a dry like history lesson, you know, because he's the only white guy on stage.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. Check that out. Like, honestly, if you are familiar with Chappelle, check out the Mark Twain thing on Netflix.
Boom.
Back to you, Nando.
All right, back to me. Okay, so I actually stumbled upon this comedian. You know how like sometimes you're like, you know, scrolling through like Facebook and like, you know, Instagram, whatever, and like you can click on something and it just kind of leads you to something else. And I was like, oh, like this is like a comedian. So I was like, oh, sweet. So I just clicked on him, and it was like, this guy's name is Jimmy Carr. And I had never heard of him until like last year. But apparently he's a British comedian. He's been around for like, God, I think like 20 years. But, you know, he's a writer, he's a television presenter, comedian, and he's kind of known for his like dark humor, his heckler interaction, and I think most importantly, his laugh. If you listen to him laugh, he's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
He's
like,
got a weird laugh.
Yeah, I'm like, is he okay? Like, what the fuck's going on with this guy? So I watched a couple of his shows. They're pretty good. Some of them, you know, you kind of like start off a little bit slow, and you know, he kind of just they're, you know, quick one-liners, you know. And like for me, it's funny, you know, like you get a couple points in, you're like, yeah, you get me rolling, you know, and then you go into a story, and then you come back for some laughs. I wanted to see real quick if I can pull up some of the careers that he's there, the things that he's done. He did a game show that's Distraction and Your Face or Mine, which I thought was pretty.
It's funny that you say he does a game show because he looks like a game show host.
Yeah. Oh, it totally does. Yeah.
100%.
He also did. It says here that he did a U.S. version of Distraction for like Comedy Central. So like that's pretty cool. Like there's a lot of stuff on here, about him. There was this little thing that says like, "Ooh, a little tax evasion controversy," and I'm like, that looks intriguing. But I'll let you guys do the investigation on like what.
Well, yeah, smart nerdy guy. I mean,
right?
Maybe.
What did you do? But this guy, he's pretty funny. I think the joke that I picked, or the little skit, was reasons why like women won't have sex with you, or like if you're in a long-term relationship, like why a woman would say no.
Like excuses.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this will be pretty cool. Like let's listen to like what he's got.
So before we get into the clip, I'll give you my take real quick. I knew who Jimmy Carr was when he told me about him.
Yeah.
But I've never like really seen any of his stuff. And so obviously we sent the clips to each other, so we knew what we were talking about a little bit and can have an actual reaction to if we hadn't seen it. And so I watched the clip and like I was skeptical, and yeah, man, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Especially when he starts doing the audience interaction.
Yeah.
So anyways, here you tell him the clip's coming.
Oh, all right.
Do some work here.
Everyone, the clip's coming up.
The couples in, give us a shout. I've got a theory about sex in long-term relationships. So the received wisdom is it's men that instigate sex within a long-term relationship. It's the man that says, should we go upstairs for a bit of slap and tickle, bit of how's your father, bit of sticky belly, whatever you call it in your houses. But it's the man that asks. I think that is misogynistic bullshit. That's like saying the man's got the sex drive and the woman is just passive. I reckon it's about 50-50 in most relationships. The reason you don't notice when women ask for sex is because when women ask for sex, it happens. We've got the expression getting lucky because we're rolling the dice, ladies. If your woman says to you, do you want to go upstairs and fuck? Yep. It doesn't matter what else is going on. You could be full of flu. You could have just received devastating news. You could have just been shot in the leg by her. Do you want to go upstairs and fuck? Yes, I do. But sometimes, gentlemen, you'll know this, sometimes in a long-term relationship, you'll suggest becoming amorous with your partner. You'll suggest having sex, and she'll say no. And then she will give you some kind of mercurial, strange reason as to why sex could not occur at that moment in time. And you would like to respond, you'd like to argue back, but you can't think of anything because you can't think at all because all the blood is somewhere else. So I thought, well, why don't we take advantage of the situation we find ourselves in? Why don't we workshop it? What reasons have you heard, gentlemen, not to have sex? And we'll come up with a response. What have you heard? Headache. Tired. Okay, let's deal with those in order. Headache. Easy. If a woman says, look, I've got a headache, just say, I'm going to be right at the other end. I could not be further away from that problem. Also, I'm going to fuck you. We're not doing Sudoku. You're not going to need your wits about you. Tired. Tired is like the modern equivalent of headache. And I think genuinely, if a woman says to you, look, I can't have sex, I'm tired, what you've got to do, you've got to listen, obviously. You've got to acknowledge. It's not enough just to listen. She's got to know that you've heard. And then make a suggestion. That's my advice anyway. Don't demand anything from a woman. Make a suggestion. So if a woman said, look, I can't have sex, I'm tired. I'd say, of course you're tired, I hear you, you've got the kids, you've got the house, you've got work, you must be exhausted. So why don't you, and it's just a suggestion, but why don't you do what you normally do and just fucking lie there? You lazy fucking cow. Any other excuses for not having... Pregnant? She's too young. This is a long-term relationship you're in, right? She said, I really can't have sex with you, I'm too young. Yeah. And what was that one? Pregnant. Are you trying to nudge her towards a three-way? It's that bad? Clearly, yes. I don't want to alarm anyone, but we've got a pirate in the house.
Hoist the mainsail. She's dead.
She's dead, and yet you're still hearing a voice saying no. That isn't her, that's your conscience, you monster. Go on, any other excuses for not having sex? Your cock's too big. Try fucking a grown-up. Any other? Sorry, sir, could you just repeat what you said there? She's on the blob. How nicely put, sir. I think a lesser man might have said menstruation. Or her time of the month, or maybe period. Even Arsenal are playing at home, or she has the red devil in her belly. Up on bricks. But you went with the much more genteel. On the blob! She's on the blob, and she. I think in all seriousness, if a woman says, look, I can't have sex, I've got my period, I would say, well, your arse isn't bleeding, is it?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was the worst setup ever.
I know. You're like
the worst setup to a clip ever.
I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you.
This is why this is my show.
I know. I'm Plan B.
Oh man. Well, Plan C. Let's be real.
There's another clip that I was kind of like considering. So let me see if I can pull up the name of it. The show, I guess I forgot the name of the show that he had on there, but it was like an hour and a half long. And I sent you I'm like, hey, it starts at like minute 55 and it ends like at like a.
Oh yeah, he sends me the clip. He's like, oh, you got to go look up the scene at the actual clip I want.
Right.
Starts at this time, ends at this time.
Yeah, but it's the name of his like special. I think it was Laughing and Joking with Jimmy Carr. And there's another part of it that I was kind of like, oh man, like this one seems like it's kind of cool. But I'm like, maybe not. Because like at a certain point, he's like, okay, like let's talk about things that, women have been asked to do, like, obviously in a relationship, and that they say, no, I don't want to do this. And then like he kind of, obviously he heckles into the audience. And you're going to have to listen to it if you guys want to hear it. Because I'm like, man, this shit's kind of, it goes on the deep end for me. I'm like, oh God. If you want to go ahead and listen to it, it comes up after this clip. I think
if you look it up, it starts at like 55 minutes and 30 seconds or something.
Right. And then kind of fast forward a little bit. And then it kind of, I'm like, you know what? Like, it's funny. And then I'm like, ooh, like it's getting kind of bad. Like at a certain point. You guys want to go check it out. Like,
I might look more into his stuff because I don't know his comedy well. But I mean, based on that clip, like I said, the audience interaction was the best.
Yeah.
What was the one? He says he's like, oh, give me reasons that, your wife says she doesn't want to have sex. And like one guy says she's dead or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
the one with the pirate. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's dead.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
She's too young or something. Oh,
yeah,
one guy's like, oh, because my cock is too big.
Right. And Dana
like, he's like, have sex with a grown-up.
But it's funny though too, because he's like, yeah, like if she says, she's got a headache, I'm gonna be on the other end. We're good. Like,
yeah. Oh, good stuff. All right, good stuff. All right, got to get into the big boy now.
All right, here we go.
My next one is Bert Kreischer.
Mm-hmm.
I got to ask you, do you know of Bert Kreischer before I told you about him?
I've seen a little bit of him. My question is, why does he not have a shirt on? And I'm pretty sure he does.
That is a good question.
Right.
That is a good question. So Bert Kreischer, if you don't know him, he does his comedy with a shirt off.
Right.
And he is not a physically fit person. He's probably somewhere. Well, he's beyond both of us. I think he's got a beer gut.
Yeah.
And the reasons for all of this. So, Kreischer does have a podcast that I occasionally listen to. It's a little all over the place, so sometimes it's a hard listen. But he generally has comedians on, so when he has a comedian I don't want to listen to, I tune in. He talks about the shirt at one point because someone asks him about it, and he said that he was doing a show one time, and for whatever reason he was into it. He took his shirt off, and then he just started doing all his shows with his shirt off. And at one point he did like I don't know if it was a charity benefit or something like that, where they told him to wear a shirt, and he's like, I was the most uncomfortable I've ever been on stage in my life.
Oh, wow.
So he prefers to do comedy with his shirt off. If you watch his special, he comes out, he's got a shirt on, immediately takes it off.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I was like, oh, like you said, he's probably, he's not a slim guy. So I'm assuming he probably gets hot. It gets hot up there. You get all those lights on you, it's a lot of people. And that's why I was like, oh, he probably just gets hot.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's sweating.
Yeah.
He's obviously sweating this whole time.
So I was like, maybe Matt knows why he just comes out with his shirt off.
That's the reason. He's comfortable with doing his shirt off. He's done it for so long now. And he's famous in the comedy world at this point, so I don't think he can go back.
No, now he's
maybe when he gets a little bit older.
But would you want to? You're like, man, I'm comfortable up here. I got a shirt on, I got pants on, which is important.
Yeah,
You at least want to make sure you got pants on.
He's slim from the waist down.
Yeah.
The reason for the beer gut that he's got on him is interesting. So he went to college at Florida State University. In, I believe it was 1997, Rolling Stone put out an article about Florida State University being the top party school.
Oh, okay.
Also like rated top party school by the Princeton Review at the time. Rolling Stone did an article in 1997, and Bert Kreischer was named as the top partier at the top party school in the nation.
Wow.
That article served as the baseline for the movie National Lampoon's Van Wilder.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Which stars Ryan Reynolds. So if you remember that movie, there's some pretty epic party scenes in there.
Oh, yeah.
Bert Kreischer started his career doing comedy in Potbellies.
Dude, that's cool.
I'm like, dude, wow.
I know they have.
Potbellies exist back then? What the fuck?
Yeah, I knew they had like musical guests. I didn't know they had comedic ones.
Apparently.
Yeah.
He was also a regular on the Rachel Ray Show. I never watched Rachel Ray.
Me neither.
So this was a surprise to me to find out. Excuse me. Yeah. So there was something I was trying to look up the name of his first special, which I couldn't find in time. But he's hilarious. Some of his comedy is like basically talking about how dumb his kids are. Like his one kid is like street smart and everything, and this other kid is just not. And there was a couple different bits I thought about, and initially I was going to go with this one bit called The Machine, because this is probably what he's most famous for. And the Cliff Notes version of this clip is he ends up taking a class of learning how to speak Russian, and he's going to drop out of the class. He's like, this sucks, I can't do it. And they say, no, I need 14 students in this class to continue teaching it. If you stay in this class, you'll end up getting a minor, and you will also be able to go to Russia. And so he's like, I'm in.
Yeah, sweet
So
deal.
The story is about him and the Russian mob. It's a true story.
Wow.
It's also a 15-minute long bit. And I was going to put it in this episode, but I decided not to.
Oh, okay.
Because it was so long.
Yeah.
So I picked probably my second favorite bit of his, which is called Period Party. So Enjoy.
I'm at home. Phone rings. It's a school nurse. She goes, I have Isla in the office. Is there a parent at home? I was like, I'll do. Gives the phone to Isla. Her first words, I tried to stop it, Dad. I go, stop what? She goes, I got my period. I'm like, bitch, you promised. I'm like, you called the wrong number, dickhead. Call your mom. She's like, Dad, I need you right now. Immediately as a parent, I'm melting down. So I'm like, she's freaking out at school. She's by herself. She's going through what Georgia went through. This isn't my skill set. But I got this. I go, okay, baby. All right. Okay. How'd you get it? She was like, Dad, I was playing kickball. Immediately, I'm like, oh, poor kid probably thought she blew out her pussy. Just, oh, shit. Oh, I'm out, coach. I'm out. Yeah. I tore my twat. It's bad. I blew out my cooch, coach. I'm going to have to sit this one out. Pinch runner, pinch runner. Now I'm spiraling. I'm like, all right, what do you need from me? New pants, new panties, new socks? Did it get in your socks? A bucket, some towels, garlic. We're going to keep the vampires away from you. She's like, Dad, I'm fine. Mom gave me a go bag. I go, okay, then what are you calling me for? She goes, I need you to go to the store and get supplies. I'm like, how bad is this period? She's like, no, Dad, I'm throwing myself a period party tonight. I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? She's like, all the girls are doing it, Dad. I need you to go to the store and get supplies. Get a red velvet cake. I'm like, I go, baby, I don't think I can eat a red velvet cake, knowing what it symbolizes. She's like, Dad, you need a red velvet cake for a period party because you put the name of your period on the cake. I'm like, who names their period? She's like, Georgia named hers after the girl from Progressive Auto Insurance. She's like, Dad, please, I need you right now. I have 10 people coming tonight. I go, we have 10 little girls coming to the house? She goes, no, 8 girls, 2 boys. I'm like, who invites boys to a period party? And I hear her sinister little giggle on the phone, and she goes, Dad, that's the fun of it. We don't tell them why they're there. Now I'm like, fuck it, I'm in. I have never had more fun at a party in my entire life. Planning, hosting, and attending a period party. I dressed all in red like it was Chinese New Year's. Drinking Pinot Noir. I made pasta with chunky marinara sauce. And I giggled the whole night with all these little girls at these 2 boys, Max and Carter, right? Faces covered in red cake. Like it's their honeymoon, and they're like, fuck it, I'll eat it anyway. The whole party, these 2 boys are looking at the cake going, who the hell's Jason? My daughter, Isla Kreischer, named her period Jason because she got it on Friday the 13th.
That's how you set up a clip, sir.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
When you said this to me, I gotta say, man, like I'm like watching this and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad for those 2 kids.
Oh my God. This shit is hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Oh shoot, I was trying to think of his special is very recent. His latest special on Netflix. I want to say within the last 4 months or so, and I think it's called Big Boy, which is why I started that way. But it's good, and it's like they're true stories, and like part of the reason for the Big Boy title is. His kid calls him or says something to him at one point. She's like, hey, big boy.
What?
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know if I can find it quick enough. Yeah, I don't see it real quick. So, But man, his stuff is so good. It's so funny. I just watched his recent special. I think it was last weekend because we were already talked about doing this. And I'm just like, I want to like consume as much as Bert Kreischer as I can. And it's so good. If you have kids, you're going to love his shit.
Yeah.
If you don't have kids, go find the machine bit and just, it's great. Did you know of Bert Kreischer before this?
I've seen a couple of his stuff, but I haven't. I didn't know as much of him as you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've recently found him. The machine was the first one I found of him. It was one of those YouTube things, and I ran across it. And I'm like, holy crap, this is hilarious. And so I just looked into him more, and he's friends with a lot of the comedians I like. Taylor Tomlinson, which I've talked about before, the two of them are really close friends, and some other people. So it's great.
Check him out.
What's that?
Check him out.
Check him out. Check him out. Check him out. Check him out. What do you got? I mean, your turn, man. It's your turn.
Okay. You're up, kid. All right, cool.
No easy segues here. Come
on. So my next comedian, it's Lewis Black, and I've loved his like angry comedic delivery. You know, because like you see him and he just seems like a nice old man, and no, man, like everything's like he's pissed off and shit, and he's sitting there and he's like, yeah, after this and fuck you and it's like,
well,
wow,
he tells a joke and then he'll just be like, I don't know, like that wall over there is green. It's fucking green.
Yeah, like why are you so angry? But I love it. No, and like he's in so he's in a lot of shows. Lewis Black's Root of All Evil. Just for Laughs. He's in The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, which I watched a couple of those episodes too.
The stuff with The Daily Show is fantastic.
Yeah.
He was going to be in town, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to go see him.
I was going to go too.
I was like, oh.
I called the venue even, and they're like, so he did a show nearby like 6 months ago, and I called the venue, and I said, hey, because I couldn't find anywhere to buy tickets online. I'm like, are there any tickets left for Lewis Black? And they're like, we have 3. I'm like, oh, great. And they're like, all the seats are in different places.
Oh,
so they just had individual tickets.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how much are those tickets? And they were like $100. I'm like, your venue is tiny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck you.
I'm not doing this.
So I ended up not doing it, but he was playing somewhere closer. And then, the COVID-19 happened.
Yeah.
It was going to be a much better venue anyways, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I know. And like the sad part is, I told Jacqueline, I'm like, we should go see him,
Yeah.
Cause we had just finished watching a couple episodes of, they play reruns on TV, whatever, Big Bang Theory. And he's on one of those episodes.
Oh, is he? Nice.
Yeah. He plays an entomologist, like the world renowned entomologist. I forget his name.
Okay.
But I'm like, I'm like, that's Lewis Black. We should go see him. He's gonna be in town. And then I'm like, yeah, COVID-19 happens. Obviously we can't go. But I'm like, man, that sucks. Because so I'm looking right here. He's actually 71 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So like the clip that I chose, I think he's only.
I mean, he's never really looked healthy.
No.
Especially when he's on stage.
Yeah.
But I didn't peg him for 71.
Right. But and the clip that I chose, he's like 62 years old. Which is fantastic because imagine you're a stand-up comedian and you're traveling the world, 70 years old. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then having that much anger, which is might be good for you. But anyway, let me set up for you. He the bit that he kind of has is what is his not just for him but his generational legacy what it's gonna be. So he's kind of like, like we're running out of time here. So here's what I think we can do. Let's legalize pot. And and like the whole thing, like I thought he was doing it here, but it was actually a clip and a bit that he did in Montreal. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it's let's legalize pot everywhere. Let's fucking do it.
All right, man. Here it is.
I'm turning 62 this summer, and no, nothing to applaud. Nothing to applaud. You don't applaud somebody for getting older. That's just dumb luck. I'm turning 62. I'm not happy about it because it's not a lot of fun. But what irritates me even more than that is to watch some celebrities sit on the television I'm watching and go, hey, I just turned 64 and I've never felt better in my life. Wow, are you full of shit? This is the best you felt? Seriously? In your whole life? 64? What was it like early on? Were you suffering from polio? Were you in an iron lung? In your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, did they cover you with ticks? You have Alzheimer's, you son of a bitch. I have a great deal of love and affection for my generation, and it was my generation, really, was the first generation ever that said they were going to change the world. And we certainly did. We have screwed it up. The saddest thing is that right now, my generation has no legacy to leave behind. People are going to look back at my generation and go, whoa, how did that happen? And so I firmly believe we need to leave a legacy behind. And there is really, I think, only one thing that we can get done before, because we're running out of time. And I believe the one thing that we can do is legalize pot. I realize there's kind of a difference. It's illegal here, but you don't seem to care. Which is an interesting thing, because in the United States, when something is illegal like pot is, we arrest people. We love rules. I mean, it's unbelievable. But we allowed BP to basically, do what they did to us. I mean, it's almost murder. And Tony Hayward leaves on a yacht, but my friend Eddie is picked up for a half a joint in an ashtray. It's unbelievable. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, hey, Louis, the reason you want it legalized is you smoke pot, and I don't, and I seriously don't. I did, and it was great. But as any kid would, some kids do, I smoked too much. I smoked a ton. And then by the time I turned 25, I was smoking so much, it didn't work anymore. It didn't work. Nothing. And then I turned 35, and I quit for 10 years. A friend of mine says, you got to try it again. They've improved it. And it scared me to death. I couldn't feel my feet. I could not feel my feet. Hey, you son of a bitch. I've got no feet. Bring me some water from the kitchen. I got no feet. Bring me water. I am parched. And it was then that I became a drinker. I will tell you that if you're a drinker and you're against the legalization of pot, you're a hypocrite. And there's no argument. There's no argument. You're allowed to have your high. You don't allow others to have their high. And I know what you're thinking, but Mr. Black, I saw your little demonstration there. I think that was very scary. You had no feet. It's scary to you. It's not scary to the pot smoker. That's why they smoke pot. They smoke pot to lose their feet. That's why the pot smoker is happy wherever they are. I'm not going anywhere. This is great. Besides, I got no feet. Now, the reason we drink, as we well know, is we want to basically lose our head. That's what we do. We think too much, and we take that bottle and we go, come on, stop it! Stop thinking! Now, it seems to me, call me silly, it's kind of smarter, really. If you had a choice of losing your head or your feet, I think the feet. To simplify the argument, if you were to leave the theater this evening and I said, I'm giving you a choice. You can get in a car with a driver who's completely drunk, or you can get into a car with someone who's stoned to the tits. Which car are you going to get in? Unless you're feeling suicidal, you're going to get in with the stoner, because the stoner's not going to be caught speeding, are they? Because the stoner is taking the time, unlike the drinker, to smell the roses. Or at least think that's what they're smelling. One of the reasons that I had no fear of smoking when I was young was because I was lied to. You can't lie to someone about something. You just can't do it, because it makes the person realize, hey, it's not so bad. I knew that pot wasn't bad, and I knew it because I was told that it was a gateway drug, that pot would lead to the use of heroin. You know what else does? Pretzels. Especially with spicy mustard. As we all well know, pot is a gateway drug, isn't it? It's a gateway drug to the kitchen. I became healthier because of pot. When I was young, my mother said to me, I really want you to try some yogurt. It's really good for you, and it contains bacteria. And since I loved my mother and trusted her, I took a little yogurt and went, this stuff tastes like shit! What's the matter with you? Are you trying to kill me? This is crazy! Did somebody put something in a sock and leave it in their crotch for a week and then add blueberries? When I was 21, I was alone in my apartment just off campus. There were no roommates around, and I smoked a joint, and I ended up in the kitchen. But all that was left to eat there was yogurt. I realized I could walk 2 blocks and have any food that I could possibly want, or yogurt. But I wasn't sure what was out there. And so I had the yogurt. And it was spectacular! It was better than ice cream! I'm gonna eat this stuff for the rest of my life, and I'll be healthy, because it contains bacteria. There is a practical reason, a very practical reason, to legalize pot. My country has no economy. And I am pretty sure yours doesn't, because your dollar is almost equal to ours. We could raise money in our country by taxing the rich, but we're afraid of them. We don't tax rich people in our country. No, no, no. And what's interesting about not taxing rich people is if you actually tax them, if you taxed rich people, guess what? The next day, they'd still be rich. And so I propose to you that in order to get our economies back on track and raise money, that we legalize pot, and we can do it the old-fashioned way, with a bake sale. And then years from now, people will look back on my generation and say, that's the generation that legalized pot. And that explains why they didn't get anything else done. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, we're back. Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Love the anger.
Love the anger.
Yes.
It's perfect when he does it too, because he does it like, and I know you guys can't see me, it's like he's like, and when he's yelling, he's like all shaking.
Yeah, his hands are like,
you know, like about to burst. You know,
and if
get
you've
off
ever
my lawn.
if you've ever watched what is it? I think the Pixar movie Inside Out. He's the angry guy.
Yeah, he's the angry guy. That's great.
Perfect role for him.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. So Lewis Black, I agree 100%. So I totally forgot to start a timer because when we're on Zoom,
yeah, we don't.
Our timer is not accurate because we bullshit before we start. So I have no idea how long we've been going. But I'm just gonna run through my list of some comedians here that I wrote down. Bill Burr, hugely offensive, but funny as all hell. Chris Rock, Taylor Thompson, which we talked about. Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg has passed away, and it's been about like 18 years or something now already.
Wow.
This guy is freaking one-liners, dude. I'm gonna have to look one up before we sign off of one of his one-liners. Dave Attell, I got to see him. Funny, creepy-looking guy, but funny. Obviously Eddie Murphy. I really want Eddie to come back and do a special.
I don't like Eddie Murphy.
He doesn't like you either.
I don't care.
Ralphie May.
Oh, I was gonna do Ralphie May.
Ralphie May. He passed away too.
I know. And you know what? This is what kills me. I was in Vegas for the show right before he passed away. Like he passed away like
really?
a couple months after. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, Ralphie May's here. So, and I told my brother, because my brother actually introduced me to Ralphie May. He's like, oh, you should check this guy out. He's fucking hilarious. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm here. And he's sold out, so I can't see him. Like, fuck.
Ralphie May, I discovered on Last Comic Standing. That's when first time I saw him. Where was I lost my list. Ron White. He has a great bit about tater salad, which is an alias of his. It's crazy. Bo Burnham. Bo is a little known comics. He's a YouTube comic.
Okay.
And he started doing like songs, like comedic songs. He's got his own special. I don't remember if it was a Netflix special or HBO special. He got his own. It's great. Real young guy. Trevor Noah, obviously, I got to see him a year or two ago. Sarah Silverman, she's got a great show on Hulu. I don't think it got renewed. It's called I think it's called I Love You America. Very political show, but good. Michelle Wolf.
Oh, she's funny.
Got a short-lived show on Netflix. I don't think that got renewed either. She's got a very grating voice.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen to, but once you get past it, she is hilarious.
She's kind of like whiny.
Yeah. Yeah. So check out the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Michelle Wolf.
I saw it.
And if you are a fan of guns, you're not going to like it. So just don't watch it.
Oh.
Anthony Jeselnik. I very much thought about doing an Anthony Jeselnik bit. He's kind of a one-liner guy too. He'll basically start a joke and then flip it completely around to what you think he's about to say and say something different. Like I can remember one of his bits real quick. So I'm living in this apartment, right? And I got this neighbor next door to me. Every day at 9 a.m., he comes over, knocks on my door. I go answer it. And every day he asks me, have you seen my wife? Now this guy's like 90 years old, right?
Oh shit, yeah.
He does this every day. Now you think I might move, complain, but I can't. So every day I have to tell him, Frank, I'm sorry. Your wife passed away.
Oh man.
And I tell you what, just to see the look on his face when he smiles.
Oh man.
Anyways, that's the gist of it. I might have gotten it slightly wrong, but and then a couple older comedians on my list: George Carlin.
Oh yeah.
7 Things You Can't Say, something along those lines. Robin Williams, obviously, and Louis Anderson that we've talked about before. So
yeah. I know you pretty much covered a nice little list there.
I did. I was just going, and I'm like, I want to think of some of my favorite comedians.
Yeah.
That's just yeah.
I have a couple. So I had never heard of Nikki Glaser until I saw like the roast.
Oh, Nikki Glaser. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I like Nikki Glaser.
Right.
She does a great roast, and there's I forget who it was. It might have been Rob Lowe, but she goes and she's doing Blake Griffin.
Oh yeah.
She's roasting Blake Griffin, and she's like, God, that man. She's basically talking about how much she wants to fuck him.
Yep.
And while he's like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. I will say this though, I watched her last special, and I didn't like it too much.
You didn't care for it?
No.
But and honestly, I've only seen like the roast. So I was like, oh yeah, she's pretty funny. But like, unfortunately, like that's as far as like my kind of research went on her. So I'm like, I really didn't know enough to be like, oh yeah, let's talk about Nikki Glaser. But
yeah,
since we're naming a couple of them off, like we'll throw her in there. I like Kevin Hart. He's got
he's all right.
Yeah. Wait, and then I know
he's got a special on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And it's after like his Me Too accusation. It's very self-serving.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like,
you're like, screw you, Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
There's another comedian from the 90s who I know Jacqueline loves, Seinfeld.
Yeah. I didn't put Seinfeld down. He's obvious. I
didn't put him down.
I'm very half and half with him.
I don't like him.
You don't like him?
I don't at all.
Okay. I'm very half and half with him. It depends on what he's doing. I like the comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Not for him. I am more into the comedians that he's talking to.
Right.
Because the good thing is that he's talking to comedians that are comfortable with him, and so they will talk about some behind the scenes stuff,
Yeah.
Or they're telling jokes that they might not do on stage or whatever, or, they're doing off the cuff stuff. So it's better that way, but
yeah. And like, I mean, I liked other people on the show. I liked Kramer. I felt Kramer would have been funny without Seinfeld on there, but whatever.
Kramer, what was it? Kramer in the hot tub? He's got the hot tub in the apartment.
I also had down, if we had enough time, I was going to mention a Chris Tucker clip that I had prepared for it, if we had time. And then I realized that if we included Pete Davidson, we would have had to edit this whole podcast. Right?
We would have been like, oh, and my next clip is Pete.
And then that's it.
So I was watching Bill Kreischer.
Right.
And the 4th time I met O.J. Simpson.
And then that's it.
Yeah, so we are getting close on time. Going to be recording another episode after this.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Which is actually, I think I'm going to post that before this one. So.
Oh, we're going to go in reverse order.
We're going to flip. We're going to do a little flippy flip.
Well, if you flip it, tell Dana that I said hi.
Well, now I got to flip it.
You can tell her after the show. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. So I got two Mitch Hedberg things I want to tell you. A duck's opinion of me is largely based on whether or not I have bread. Yeah. I don't have a girlfriend, but I do know a woman who'd be mad at me for saying that.
Oh, who would be mad?
Oh man, there was one about a tennis ball that I really wanted to tell, but I can't find it real quick. Okay. I'm going to leave it on this, and then we'll finish up the show. I once saw a forklift lift a crate of forks, and it was way too literal for me.
I like it.
That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, PocketCasts, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts. Email us at journeytothemiddle@gmail.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I may or may not keep doing it.
Tell us who your favorite comedians are. Make sure
who your favorite comedians are. Are they me?
No.
Are they Nando? Boo. We want to hear from you guys. We're having a lot of fun keeping the show going, even though we are currently separated
and quarantined.
Yeah. But hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Matt. That guy over there.
I'm Nando. Be safe, everyone.
All right. So goodbye. Nando, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Nice.
You know who's my favorite action hero when I was a kid? Was Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly in Back to the Future. He was my hero. I loved Marty McFly. He's great, right? I wanted to be like him in every way. I watched that movie again recently. Marty McFly is a 17-year-old high school student whose best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist. And I shit you not, they never explain how they became friends. And we were all fine with it. We never even asked, that we were just like, who's his best friend? A disgraced nuclear physicist? Okay, yeah, proceed, yep. No, just good, proceed with the movie. I know Back to the Future is a great movie and a hit movie. It's a very weird movie. I just watched it again. It has a lot of weird things in it. 2 guys had to go in and sell that movie. 2 guys had to go into a movie studio and be like, okay, so we have an idea for the next huge family action movie. And it's about a guy named Marty, and he's a high school student, and he's very lazy. He's always sleeping late. And they were like, okay, is he cool like Ferris Bueller? No. But he has a best friend, who's a disgraced nuclear physicist. I'm sorry, I'm confused. This is another student or, oh, no. This other guy is either like 40 or 80. Even we don't know how old he's supposed to be. Anyway, so one day, the boy and the scientist, they build a time machine. Whoa. Okay, I think I see where this is going now. Let me guess. They build a time machine and they go back in time and they stop the Kennedy assassination. Oh, no. Yeah, that's a really good idea. No, yeah, we didn't even think of that. Okay, well, what do they do with the time machine? Well, now I'm embarrassed to say. No, all right, here goes nothing. We thought, that it would be fun for people if the boy, he went back in time and he tried to fuck his mom. We thought that would be fun. And then, but don't worry, he doesn't get to fuck the mom because this family friend named Biff shows up and he tries to rape the mom, in front of the son. And then the dad, he has to beat the rapist off of her. And we're also gonna say that a white man wrote Johnny Be Good, so we're gonna take that away from them. Well, this sounds like a fantastic movie. We are definitely gonna make this. Now, you say that they go to the past. Do you wanna call it Back to the Past? No. Back to the Future. Right, but they go to the past. Yeah. Good night, Montreal. Thanks for your time, everybody. You've been wonderful. Thank you.